Hello everyone, I'm High Treason. Well, we ain't seen this in a while, you might not see this one. Well, can you give me the fucking desktop then, please? There we go. Jeez, it's like it's stuck focusing on an invisible window somewhere. There probably is one, there's probably demon tools down there or something. What is that green? That doesn't have anything mounted, does it? No, it doesn't. Weird. Can't remember why it does that. Well, anyway, yeah, we ain't seen an episode of this in a few days, and it's not that I haven't recorded them, it's that all the maps have either been really bad, or just not that interesting. I'm not really sure doing this series was the best idea. I am starting to have second thoughts. Well, if that's not in here, where is it? Because I definitely put it in here. Yeah, that's not making any sense. I don't believe I put it in there. I mean, I might have done, but no, it's not looking that way. Yeah, see, that was the last one I recorded. You know, so well, this is weird because on the remote system I've copied the file over with, it shows up, but I can't see it on here. I wonder if it's set to hidden, and I don't have hidden files shown in it, but that would be weird. I'll come back. It'll be instant for you. This could take me about 4 hours, because it's Ethernet. Right, there we go. I don't know what was wrong. Recording on the Xeon again today. You never guess. I mean, look at the state of it. Both cards are just as bad at this point, really, aren't they? It's baffling. What I hate in Windows 10, how you close a window from the taskbar, which, you know, really doesn't like bringing that context menu out. And a lot of menus don't work without the mouse now, which is pretty rough. What the fuck was that? My chair is making some very bad noises. I don't know if you can hear them, but it's a 50s thing. It's a bit fucking rickety. I might not want to sit on it much more. You close the window from there, and it just picks a random window to bring to the forefront. Not the one that was active before, or anything to do with it. Just a random one. Usually the web browser ends up hijacking the focus. It's weird. It's like, I'm already focused on a fucking window. In this case, the video capture window. Why the fuck do I want the browser in the front on a different monitor entirely? You know, I've just closed the window from the taskbar. It wasn't even in focus. Of course, because I've moved it into the menu from the taskbar, it does bring the window into focus. It will start to do that because that's how Windows works from Vista onwards. Silly. What baffles me now is how many applications go flat out crazy if you try to use the keyboard only. Like, you try using a keyboard to do things in Google Chrome and you watch it just start spazzing out, because the people who develop it obviously don't do that. They obviously don't come from that sort of era, I guess, so that's the thing you do. And it's a lot faster to use both, you know, a keyboard and mouse. You can do things a lot quicker using both of them. They probably develop it for a touchscreen. It's very Apple feeling, Chrome, and I don't like it. The only reason I use it is more pages work in it than other browsers. Anyways, yeah, I don't remember if I did an intro. If I didn't, High Treason, whatever. What are we getting ourselves into? Well, The Crash Zone by Ben Brown. It's a name I know, so I may have played this years ago, I might not. His email address is my email address. Apparently he knows my password. I'll have to change that. That's good. Web page. I wish. Yeah, I remember everyone wanted a web page back then. I still need to fix my web server, don't I? It's starting to annoy me not having that now. I can get capacitors locally now as well. That don't totally suck. I mean, they are China grade, but that's indistinguishable from the Japanese ones now. Most of the time they're fake anyway, so you might as well just order the China ones, because you're probably going to get China capacitors if you order China capacitors. If you order Japan capacitors, you're probably going to get China capacitors at like 10 times the cost. or, well, Japan got rubbish at electronics over time anyway, and so they're probably not going to be any better even if they're the real thing. Usually it's 30-year-old stock and it's dead right out of the box. I've got to recap my Profit 5 again, because this time I'm just going to use cheap, shitty ones, and they'll probably last longer. And to be honest, they'll probably be well within spec, because that thing's from like the 70s. Well, mine's the 80s, but it's a 70s design. It's designed to take 1970s capacitors. Should be alright. This level is basically a radio station, a warehouse, and a small part of an alien spaceship. Bit of variety. You start out on the roof of a warehouse, that's pretty normal in Duke 3D levels, and eventually find that a saucer has crash-landed onto the second floor of the warehouse. It's from the 90s, this map. I can't remember what year. I'm going to say 98, but I'm not 100%. Another rescue ship is hovering in the street, where it has sent numerous aliens all over the area. Try this level for single player. It doesn't suck. Now, you see, that's not really arrogant. That's just saying it's not garbage. That's fine, you know. I don't take issue with this. If you don't think it's garbage, then, well, we'll find out, and hopefully it's not. Let me see. I'll try and, you know, Puritan's website is a piece of shit. Let's be honest. Total piece of fucking shit. I wish another site worked that had an on this day. 1999, okay. Yeah, build fack-offs and his brother. It's my first level ever completed. I'm sure you had ones before this, but I'm not 100% on it. Great as a single player level. Okay. That is a little bit sort of cocky, isn't it? It's not excessive. User map, single player, Duke match kind of, although it's not tested, so it might suck. Okay, didn't spend too much time on that. Difficulty settings, alright, if you must, but I don't like it. Alright, let's put these here, so you can complete it quickly, apparently. 1 month total, alright, new level. Known bugs, okay. For some stupid reason, some textures become unaligned for no reason. Yeah, that's a build thing, happens. However, that can't be helped. You can work around it if you're willing to put the time in, usually, but some of them just refuse to align. They do pop. Like, you'll try line it, and just when it's just one pixel off, it's like, ping! Like, 30 pixels to the fucking right or something, and so you try going all the way around and you just get it a pixel short the other way, and it pring, and it goes back to the left 32 pixels. You just can't get it to sit in that one spot. The trick is the weird shit with like folding walls on each other and shit like, which isn't really good, but once or twice I've had to do it because it just refuses to play a ball. Sliding door opens until you step through it, then the switch won't work. This really sucks, and I can't really fix it. There are sector overlapping bugs on the rooftops of the radio station. Alright, these things happen. 99, so, you know, you still saw things were a bit janky. People were still using DOS build to make these, and it's not the most reliable tool. It's more reliable than the GIMP version you get with Blood. You go, oh, well, that does other things. You know, yeah, it does, but I still think the tools that came with Blood weren't the ones the developers used per se. I think they gimped them. I really jumped in at the deep end with doing mapping for build, because I started with... Oh dear. I don't like that. That's not good. Hopefully that's just from me switching to full screen and not my video card going better. I did say I wanted to test the SD-RAM version of this card. Maybe I should order one. Apparently they're no different, but some people say they are. And so the only safe way to find out is to buy one. You know, they're not expensive. You know, nobody wants these. They only really do 2D. Well, we've got a bit of wanky shading. This makes sense because it's outside, other than the fact it's night time, but let's give it... Well, the parallax is doing that. I didn't think it stored parallax type switches. So yeah, it's a bit wanky, but, you know. I don't mind that, because it's not been excessive with it. It's, in this case, this is actually like simple shading, you know, it's not a masturbatory aid. The guy's not trying to polish his dick in my face. This is just a simple sort of stencil mask thing. You know, it's functional. It works. If I drop in it, one of these is right and one is wrong, and I end up dead, then I will just stop playing here. Okay, so I wonder where the other one went. Like, what do you think? Where do you reckon the other one would have gone? I'll make a note of that, and if I have enough disk space left at the end, then I will probably... I don't know what that does. Whatever it does sounds like it's pranging around, so we'll have a look in a minute and try and suss it out. Suss. It's one of those words I hear people throwing around now. They just write it randomly. I don't think people know how to speak English anymore. So I always just write ATK or DEC in response to it. Because I assume they're talking about synthesizers, you know, and envelope programming. Alright. Oh no. Oh, I went down that one, didn't I? So let's go in here. Ah, this is potentially quite interesting then, because that's like we've got two different ways of starting the level. Yeah, so that just goes through to there. Alright, you know, that's not a big deal or nothing, but it doesn't kill me, so I mean, that's real nice. Well, that's no good. You and your crappy lasers. There we go. I've been fiddling with theoretical concode for like DOS, you know, someday. Like, I'm still working on my episode. You know, I'd like to finish it, and I'd like to make another one someday. You know, I'd like to make a second one and set it in space. And you know, I've been toying around with the idea of that. Like, well, how would I get that to work? This almost looks like this is progress, so should I maybe... I don't know, this all looks a bit non-linear. I'm glad I went this way, because it's got me a shotgun. I wonder who killed him, and why they didn't take his shotgun. Alright, that goes around the circle. It'll be easier to deal with now, because I got that. Alright, right. Cool. Cool. Nothing bad going on here. Strange place, but a cycler. I wonder what was done there. I mean, it doesn't detract from anything. It's just, I guess he just liked the look of it. That's a valid reason. Some of the crap I played the other day, I'm quite glad of this so far, but this is playing alright. It's this really harsh shading again. Which, there's a little bit of your sectors, drawing in sectors shit. I did wonder, you know, was CK3D the only one who had a dodgy monitor? Or was there just a batch of monitors that was, like, overly bright or something? Because I've got the brightness ramped as hard as the gamma, ramped as hard as it'll go. And I still see a lot of these older maps been excessively dark. Uh-oh. We pissed them off. Of course people decide they're doing fucking grass cutting now. That's alright. You know, people think it's got to be done. I don't do it. You know, it annoys the council, and it's like, well, you know, you shouldn't have stolen me lawnmower. Are you sure this is 1.3? Because that's a missing texture by the looks of things. So what if it's using one of the atomic ones? I don't know where the misters are. I know where that key door is. Obviously. Right there. But then I'm sure there was another one. And with it spawning these misters here, it can't be the same door, surely. He sounded really pissed, that monster, right? That looks like it's progress, that other one maybe not. Layout's a bit weird in this map. Like, it's probably just an alternate route again. This level has a lot of alternate routes, so I'm really not against that. Yeah, I can put bullet holes in there. I'm wondering if this was for atomic though. See, Come Get Some said it was for 1.3. Oh no, I would have liked to have left that though. But I'm not buying that necessarily. If we, I'm going to keep a close eye out for missing textures. If the map breaks now, we can assume it maybe was made for atomic. So the texture choices in general don't suggest that. Using shotgun at a bit of excessive distance there. The old garly spraying the fucking urinal down sort of mechanic. It's always good, you know. I get used to it in the end. The shotgun doesn't, so... Shotguns, therefore, I guess, comparatively rubbish. Oh, which one can you have more fun with, I suppose, is the question. That's a bit of a tough one, really, isn't it? I'm going to go with the shotgun. The shotgun's a whole lot less gross. The shotgun doesn't get in a mood with you and start doing stupid things, you know, it's entirely user-operated. It doesn't argue with you, and nor does other people when you're holding one, so, I mean, that's pretty nifty, really. I mean, it's a no-brainer when you actually start really thinking about it, that the shotgun is just the better option all round, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to take this shotgun out in the dirt. Ah, got a freezer. Ah, shit. Well, he wasn't very happy to see us. I think we've got this an inverted sector, or it's overlapping a wall. It's probably overlapping a wall. That suggests it got opened by something that's not me. Ah. Yeah, just for good measure, I destroyed your vending machine. No cola for you. This is becoming a consistent thing. I am very much wondering if this was... These doors used to be in bloody everything. People couldn't help themselves but make these. He didn't know about activator high tags. Ah, crap. That sort of works. I'm guessing that's... maybe the bug he was on about. Oh. The one would bounce about there. I think he wanted a mirror here. Because that looks like I'm going to go through it. If I remember, I'll have a look at that when we're finished. See that? Or there's something funny about that. Yeah, they all do it. I wonder why. We'll have a look. We'll have a look. If I remember, we'll take a look when we're done with the level. Look at them. Bloody... drawing these horrible things on like Duke Nukem, like, you know, in the middle of dying. Of course, they had to have the light switches. Now the room shading looks like shit, because it's all the same shade on every surface. That's why I don't use them. Plus, they're just a bastard to implement. If I'm going to have to use a load of resources implementing effect, I'd rather do it with, like, moving sectors or something, you know, that actually looks cool and adds to the gameplay. He got me round the corner. I'm not saying you should never use light switches, I'm just saying people don't use them very much now, and it's for good reason, because usually it is just a waste, you know. There's sometimes when it could be really cool, like you turn one on and, you know, that reveals something to you that you wouldn't maybe have noticed otherwise, and things like that. There's pretty neat uses can be made of them. What? Why is that shut? I'm sure I just went in there. I didn't. Ark. Missing textures again. I don't want to be critical of the map for this, because I do wonder if it's just you know, been listed wrong on Come Get Some. But then what texture would be there, do we think? Because I don't know of any texture like that in Come Get Some. What texture is this? Like, I see this in maps a few times. I keep meaning to look and see what this is. Like, is this a combination of textures? Like, that's a wall of its own, and that's like the non-hearty heartrail texture, or is it something else? Because I've seen this a few times, I might have to totally steal it.
Where is it?
That's really weird, like, why does it play a kicking sound when you try and use the mic if it's set to... Like, I know it's because it's set to 0 and it's the only fucking thing that can play a kick hit. Because, like, pretty much nothing else can. Kick thud. Which I swear the N64 uses an older version of the file. Okay, I got a red key card now. We saw those somewhere. I don't know what's in there, I don't know how to open it. Yeah, it's kind of... right, I see, that's what's in there. Of course. Well, it's the Duke 3D universe, so I mean, that was a given, wasn't it? We should probably save at some point. I'm not going to. Uh-oh, misaligned textures. Did say it couldn't be helped. I mean, that one could be quite easily, but... I ain't bashing. It's something we've all done. But yeah, you know, sort of, it does that in one of the base game's maps. I'm sure it does. It certainly, I remember it on the N64 doing that, and it's just weird. It's like you could set it to anything. You know, why would you want it to make that noise? Why not just, like, rig it so it's, damn, I'm good, or something. Anything. Anything else would be better. This is a wonky, it's almost like a misplaced point there. That's weird. That's some weird texture in there. Oh, look at this for a sector overlap. Damn. I mean, this is arguably poor planning, but, you know, it's alright. Like, it is a bit of poor planning there, but, you know, you probably wouldn't have ever noticed if it wasn't for that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do this at all. This is probably quite an easy one to fix, though. Because the reason it's happening is just because of these being visible at the same time. You could totally have fanned lines around the back, and it would have eaten through sectors a bit, but, you know, you could have put sort of lines, like red walls across here, and a couple through here. Probably just a triangle, though, would be enough. That, you know, there's probably some angle where you'll get it, but most players at most would see just one frame of something flash, and... Well, this game tends to flicker a bit anyway from time to time, so I don't expect most would even notice. Is this like the lectern? Are you going to, like, start preaching the Bible? Well, it doesn't say what sort of radio station it's quite on the set. Well, it's a bit late for that. It's one of those radio stations. I mean, some, like, you know, Hispanic guy's going to come on. Start telling us the ways of the Lord. Yeah, I'm not against radio stations like that, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? I mean, it seems a lot more sensible than most of the shit that's going on these days. You know, to be honest, over most of the radio stations operating, it seems preferable, to be honest. I would rather listen to somebody reading the bloody Bible out and saying prayers than the bloody pop music. That shit's a disgrace. And I'm pretty certain the people making it probably worship the devil anyway. So it seems like the punk thing to do in that case is to listen to the Bible instead. Why is the sound delayed? Ah, I'm on the Xeon, aren't I? I'm probably about to run out of hard drive space. Oh no, my game crashed. Let me just check my disk space on the Xeon, see what I can do here. Okay, well I've had a look, and this isn't like for 1.4, 1.5, so I'm not actually sure why those textures weren't displaying. Given they had that texture corruption, the video corruption where it messed up the text mode going into the game, I wonder if we've just had a bit flip somewhere. In any case, I'll probably turn this off. I'll try and get back to where I was and rejoin you there. Right, I've just finished in the radio station, hadn't I? That's pretty easy to remember. So, yeah, I'll rejoin you in a moment. The game volume feels different. I didn't change anything, so I don't know what's going on. I'll see you in a moment, whether I crash or get where I was. Whichever happens. We've just crashed again. You know, calling it Crash Zone I think was appropriate. I'm not sure I want to blame the level. Like, maybe it's my PC being weird. I mean, that's a shame, because I was actually quite enjoying the map. You know, it was pretty good. I'm going to try playing it at 1.4. Even though there's no reason it should need 1.4. A quick glance in builds didn't show me anything to suggest it was using 1.4 resources, and I think the only reason those textures didn't appear is I think those sectors are corrupt, or they're inside out. So I really don't know. I couldn't find anything weird with Overtile either, because, you know, certain combinations of things just don't really work very well, if at all. There are a lot of things people have forgotten, you know. It's been neat designing an episode for DOS, because I've got to look at things that, you know, a lot of people just flat out forgot because they're not problems in the ports. And, well, you know, it is easy to forget. You know, it's like flaws. You forget you couldn't put power of 2 there. You're sort of vaguely aware of that was a limitation. But, yeah, anything that's not a power of 2 won't work. And, oh no, I didn't want to get that. There's been enough health in the level, I'm not actually worried. Now that I know the level, I probably don't need to worry about that so much, because I'm not likely to get shot at as much. Oh, why is there 3 of them? There's only 2 when I came here before. I'm sort of wondering if he's designed it for 1.3, but used 1.4 to make it? But yeah, you know, just things like that. You're vaguely aware, well, this was a limitation, but you sort of forget just how few textures you can put there. It generally only matters about the Y dimension. It doesn't care about the X dimension as much. Nukem Towers is a map that I didn't show just because it didn't really stand out any. It was very big. You know, for its time, quite a large map. It wasn't bad, actually. I quite enjoyed it, despite some slight issues with the ending. Yeah, this is weird. The enemy placement's different.
Come get some.
I don't know what that's about. Inherently against this, where it crashed last time, like on both occasions when I've been out here, so yeah, I really don't know. I might as well just bring you with me at this point. This is the other way. The textures display it. I could have sworn we had that texture in 1.3. So maybe this is an Atomic Edition map that's been mislabeled. I mean, the author doesn't specify one way or another, and we know Puritan doesn't actually play them. So, you know, let's just think that is assumed because he's using the older version of the template that it must be for 1.3. He's not very good at this. You know, if you're gonna pretend to do something you haven't done, you should at least be an expert at the thing you're talking about, so that people are less likely to realise that you're full of shit. I mean, I don't even dislike the guy or anything, but you know, I will state bullshit where I see it. Oh, I can go in here. I do wonder. Ah, so this is where the blue key goes. So it's probably the end of the level, so we're probably right up at the end. Wherever the dude is who made this Ben, you should think yourself lucky. Your level's getting shown twice. I don't think anyone else has had this. Man, things do respond differently at 1.5. The movement feels different. I've always maintained the movement's more rubbery in 1.3. I don't even think it's an intentional adjustment to the game, so much as just stuffing extra things in the game loop probably just sort of affected things. Oh, those are atomic textures, I'm fairly sure, but I don't know. I can't remember now. I want to play with 1.3 someday. I'd like to... What the pistol ammo did? I don't think I picked that up, did I? It's like it just blew up. I want to see if I can get logic machines going. You know, like target logic. Because there are no targets in 1.3. It doesn't have those. So, you know, what would we be able to get it to do? Like, is there a way to make it do that sort of thing? You know, he opted to use the floor. Grotty, uncivilized aliens. Oh, I forgot to look at these. Oh, that makes me nervous. It's probably... It's too thin. Yeah, I bet they're just a really thin wall. And the reason I'm rattling is because it's detecting there's a valid sector on the other side. If I go fast enough, I think probably... It might just be a mask, then. Like a one-wall mask, rather than being a white wall. I don't know, though, because it doesn't look that... I mean, there's no reason the guy wouldn't just wear sectors. You know, I don't think people worried about it so much. People didn't build things quite so large. Necessarily. This isn't a huge map. It's not a small one for its time either, really. It's sort of medium. But medium does let you sort of just throw sectors around a little bit. It's pretty nice, you know. It doesn't always have to be a big map. It's one thing I've enjoyed, you know, working on the DOS stuff, is you can build a smaller map. It's more focused. And not all of them run up on the limits, because does it need to? You know, what's the point? Oh, to put all this extra shit in. The map needs to do this and tell this story or do this thing, whatever you're trying to make it do. It doesn't need to be more than that. It's not its job. Boss map, I'm worried about sectors for, you know, the fact that I've got to build logic machines to run it. But otherwise, probably not actually going to be up on the limit at all. There's just no reason it'd run into it. It's a boss map. You know, what am I going to do? Put a bunch of shops and shit in there. Buy some, you know, DLC. Buy some TLC, no scrubs while you... It's weird how the two versions of the game respond differently to that. You see, there's a lot of people aren't aware the renderer is slightly different between both versions. If you put the player in the exact same coordinates with the exact same sort of angle and horrors and everything, it will look just a little different between 1.3 and 1.4. It's very subtle. You know, it's not noticeable generally in the normal circumstances, but it is there. Not sure why or what they did. Again, I'm not sure it was an intentional adjustment, so much as somebody maybe just, when they changed, you know, added more things to the game loop, it maybe affected screen timing in some way. It just made the cycle time longer, and therefore, I don't know. You find weird things like that, especially in like old games where a lot of things are synced to stuff like the screen. Right, let's see if we go crashy-washy, because I won't be trying it again if it does. Right, this is it now. You can shoot vector weapons across teleporters generally, I think, because they're not an object that exists in the game. Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, the clip disc's evidently a bit larger. Like, it gets processed has been just a little bit bigger, I guess, in 1.4. Are we going to fight a boss, or is it just going to let us out? I don't want to fight a boss because it's not very interesting. Okay. It's just going to let us out. Well, that's nice. That's alright. Alright. No, I'm quite happy with that. When the computer decided it wasn't crashing anymore. We'll have to look into that. I hope my hard drives in this aren't failing, because I really like them. Alright, it's got a load of secrets, but whatever. I don't give a fuck about those. Yeah, I'm really not sure what was up with that, but that wasn't a bad map. That was fun. It didn't really do anything special, and sometimes you don't have to. There's a fitting name. Sometimes you don't have to, but yeah, there you go. Like, it's not massive. I quite like his logo. I mean, this is very wasteful. Jeez, what's with all the sprites? This is my first level. DN clip. Ben Brown. Nah, I'm not DN clipping. I'm looking at you in the editor. It's just more random cyclists. This guy's a bit strange. You know. It's probably look pretty neat if you looked at this in on the auto map. Like, do these have offsets? No, so it'll just flash. It won't sort of roll or anything. Alright, fair enough. You know, you can't have everything. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, so there's a few multiplayer items. So let's see if I can figure out why these act weird. Yes, they are white walls, but I'm guessing they are just thin enough that I'm just nipping the valid space there. I think most people now are familiar with the things you can make Mario 64 do, and Duke's not exactly the same, but there are actually similarities with how it does things. You know, it's a different system, but it's subject to some vaguely similar conditions, basically, where some similar things can happen. Most of your issues in Duke are related to completely different routines. They just happen to look similar in how they misbehave, but what's going on internally is actually different things. I could probably sit here and explain a fair amount of it, but I don't think most people would understand it, and I think even less would be interested in it, so I'm not going to bother. Yeah, so, Crash Zone. It lived up to its name. My computer crashed twice while playing it. He sure did use a lot upon shading, but none of it was offensive. That clearly wasn't the focus. You know, it's actually pretty simple stuff, and that's alright. You know, that's sort of, if you are going to have like a strong contrast, this map's done it the right way, where it's just really sort of bold and basic, just sort of outlines, and that's probably the right approach. So, yeah, nothing wrong with that. That was perfectly fine. I quite enjoyed playing it. I don't know I'll ever play it again, but you know, maybe I would if I was bored and it's just there in the directory now. Oh, like, that's a nice quick map. We'll just have a quick go on that. Could happen. You know, could. Maybe. Well, I guess I will stick. I'll show you what happened the other day, where just every map was bad. I'll stick a couple of those on, edited down. You can see again the sort of shit I have to deal with. Right. Oh no, it's one of these. I mean, you know, I was about to rag on it for the name, because the name of this map is Light and Shadow. And I seriously want to know, what the fuck is it with these people and lighting and shadows? Like, why do people car that fucking much? You know, I had to go and buy tobacco today, and I was coming back, and it's like light outside, no shadows, because it's fucking cloudy. And remember what I was saying about light scattering in different directions and shit? Yeah, it's like late in the day, most of your light's actually bouncing back off the clouds with the way it was. You don't get shadows. Like, everything just looks sort of washed out. It's all like the same sort of shade. If there's a really big object in the way, you know, yeah, it'll be shaded in. But, I don't know, people just fucking put too much focus on this, and I really don't give a fuck, because it contributes nothing to the level, really. Like, aesthetically, can it? Yeah. And there's times and places where using it's appropriate, but I doubt if I'm going to like this. 3dfx.gameplay.de, I bet he's European. I bet he had the same fucking, you know, PC as every other fucking Eurotard. And I'm not saying Europeans are retards, I mean, certainly I don't think they're the smartest people. I think they're a little bit more stupid than the British and a little bit more stupid than the Americans, but in general I don't think Western Europeans are particularly dumb. I think they're outsmarted by Eastern Europeans, probably. I mean, they're fucking poor Western Europeans, and that includes Britain. You know, they're reluctant to make money. They'll put something for sale and then cause a fuss, because actually selling it to you is difficult for them, apparently. When someone wants to give me 400 quid, I'll run around after them quite happily if I know I'm going to get that 400 quid. You know, it's... Yeah. But no, every fucking channel, like my channel, right, as in the main channel, damn near every fucking European one, it's always the same. It's always that same fucking Asus motherboard, the same 3DFX card, the same shitty fucking Sound Blaster Live or whatever. They all build the same machine. They're a bunch of fucking commies, I guess, because it's just everything's got to be the fucking same. Oh, no, I'm not liked in those cycles, and I don't really care. Hence, they're the Eurotard channels, because they're just a bunch of Eurotards. They're a specific type of retard that only comes from Europe. Not that Europeans are retards. But European, like anywhere else, some retards come from Europe, and they're different to, like, our retards. English retards, it's always about fucking micros, and that shit can fuck off. I can't read this text file, so I figured I might as well talk to you about something, because it's one of these, and every time I try to deal with this in the past, like, you know, word wrapping, it doesn't work. Look at this, all over the place. So, me putting word wrap on and fiddling with the window size, MDK and Tomb Raider 2, yeah, the few games that happen to work on his hardware, I guess. Yeah, fuck you, man. 18 month. Right, okay. Well, it's a bit young to be building levels. 1 week real building time. Jeez, I think this is going to be fucking magical. I've had enough of that. That's quite enough. Yeah, 1999, apparently. Does that do anything? No, it doesn't. Okay, well, I'm going to do it my way then, rather than using your batch file, just for consistency. I'm going to say, what happens to the end? Because I don't even know if that's a legal character to name a file in MS-DOS. I seem to think that's a command. Oh, wonderful. Alright, won't bother with that one then. Escape from the state prison. You know, we've been recording a while and we haven't actually played any level yet, have we? And this is probably going to be a long map file. Let's have a look. Risotto Weber, Risto Weber, 15 years old. Oh, he's a little bit older than the other mapper. He was only 18 months. I think he meant 18 years. It's bit of a weird typo to make, though. From Estonia, Baltic states, Europe. I don't know much about Estonia. Well, you see what gets me is the name sounds Hispanic. You know, the address, like, Hispanic. The web address sounds Hispanic. But Baltic, you know, it doesn't seem particularly Hispanic. That's weird. The aliens came for revenge and threw Duke into the state prison. Didn't have time to... Well, that's good, because you don't want to be fucking focusing on that. So you made the right choice. You put the effort into doing other things. That's not a bad omen. Duke works alone. That's one of the reasons Duke's awesome. Putting Bombshell in the game, never a good idea if that was going to be like a companion player. I mean, look how well that worked in other games. Like fucking... What was that id one? That flopped. I mean, all that games basically flopped anyway, didn't they? Past the first two, but... You know, that definitely did. Like, modifying there's a few minor bugs, 90-degree doors kill you. Well, that's normal. I was saying the other day, Blood's the worst, because it has a crushable flag that you can turn off, and that lulls you into a false sense of security. Like, yeah, it won't do it now. No, it still does it. Yeah, this is nicely divided up. So this isn't like the other guy's thing. Not modified, okay, so there was a 1.3 version. So this isn't word salad, because this isn't, like, you know, essential to read. And the way he's sort of put it in sections like that, that's good. So, my hopes are decent for this one. The guy's not been cocky or anything. He's just told us what the map is, what it does, how to run it. He's made some remarks about building a map. Oh, hang on, I'm supposed to use a batch file for this, aren't I? Alright, fine. That's nicely presented. Hey, Mr. Bean, is it you, Mr. Bean? If anyone knows that song, I can see it, and has the version with the choir, like, bit in the middle. Yeah, like this. Yeah, I can't find it anywhere. I mean, it's a hard song to find anyway, because most people have never fucking heard of it. It's like this unlicensed Mr. Bean Eurodance song. It's really bad, as you would figure. Sort of listening to the sound, I'm passing over the top of whatever's making that noise. There's a hole there. Should we go down the hole? Should we... There's a hole there as well. I had a serve here. We'll go down the hole. I've got my footprints on the walls. I wonder if there's a sector effector there, and that's what's... Unfortunately, I don't see anywhere to go, so we might actually be soft-locked. You can look up this map and that'll tell you. Okay. That's a good point, I got a jetpack, didn't I? Not used to having it, so I forgot I had it. Arguably not a wasted trip, we got scuba gear out of it. I activated that at just the right moment to prevent the teleporter. I might have now broken the teleporter. No, it's just the death pit. It's maybe not as well designed as I thought. It's an old enough map where I can let it slide a little bit, but I don't have too much more tolerance for that sort of thing. Death holes are not totally unacceptable, but they're a bit sort of rubbish in this situation because it's really just luck. There's no indication, you know, there should be something to suggest. Because now it does that, do I have any incentive to keep jumping in them? For all we know, that's the only good one. It's a secret, you know, to get the scuba gear. I mean, this one doesn't kill us. It doesn't go anywhere and doesn't have a jetpack at the bottom. So if I'd got in here before I got the jetpack, you've death pitted me, and then the next one I've got in's a soft lock. This is actually a soft lock. Like, I can get out of it because I have a jetpack. But there was never a guarantee I would have the jetpack when I arrived at this point. See, again, death pit. Nah, that's bad, I'm afraid, dude. I'm sorry about that. That's a shame, but rules is rules. If I violate my own rules for one level, that's alright. Otherwise, you know, then you're starting to be, hypocritical. It's one level. You know, unfortunately, no good. So, well, I'll stick this on the end of whatever the next one is, because, might as well. But it's 15th of May, no good levels came out, looks like. That's a real shame. That really sucks. But unfortunately, I didn't make these. I don't, I just go by what the date is and Puritan's broken fucking website. So that's going to have to do it for the 15th of May. I'll probably cut it down so it's not as tedious. So in any case, whether that's before this or after this, I'm High Treason, thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time around, when we do whatever comes out on the day that it just happens to be. And I don't know when that'll be, because it's whenever I feel like it. I do wish I'd uploaded this one, but that wasn't a bad map. Wasn't really great or anything. That was sort of a similar situation to the one we had today, where it wasn't really special. It was I might be mixing it up with a different one, but I think that was a 97 map, Overkill, and it was just sort of Duke Nukem 3D City, basically. There's so many of them. There's nothing wrong with building a map like that, because it works, it's something that works. If it's not broken, there's no harm in doing it. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a tired formula, but it's a reliable formula. You're probably going to get a level that's okay to kill a few minutes with. Anyways, I'm out of here. I've had enough now. I'm going to go and do something else, either work on my own levels, or I've got some bicycle forks to paint, or probably a bunch of other shit that's probably really needs doing, and I've forgotten it. That happens. Well, whatever. Tata. Ow! Who the fuck left that there?